What is going on, everybody? Nan here. Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day. Spent some time with your mom, your grandma, your wife, all of the above. So, this week in distro, things are getting super, super exciting now. So, just want to start with Weiss. The Nikke orders for the restock were due last week. There is one large distro who is not a main distro where the orders aren't due until the 20th of May. But that's interesting because the product's starting to dry up. Uh, other than that, Flesh and Blood, we'll get into Magic Pokemon, obviously. High Seas allocations came out. There looks like a pretty sizable haircut compared to the last set. But my understanding is it's coming in a couple waves. So we'll see what happens there. Again, it's not really a set I dabble in, but it is part of the news. So moving to Magic. So Final Fantasy allocations are all out except for two distributors. And it looks like it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. So, the verbal that I got from everybody was the product that everybody got was about 2 to 2.5 times what they got for Tarkir. And that really carried through for the first three allocations that I got. And then one of the more recent allocations I got actually got less than Tarkir, but my spend's way up. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. That one's a little weird. But sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes distro just pulls some product back. They sit it in the corner, and especially if it's collector boxes where the set's gonna be a banger. So we did see some spoilers. I thought it was interesting that there's only gonna be one serialized card, the Golden Chocobo from Final Fantasy VII, 77 copies, which I think that concept's cool. It's like you take the one ring concept, which is really cool until the ring's gone, and then it's kind of like whatever. Um, but having 77 of those, there's always going to be some semblance of chase because there's never going to be all 77 pulled, which is a cool concept. But I would have assumed that they would have had more than one serialized card. Now, the collector boosters are up over $700. We haven't seen all the spoilers yet. The cards are kind of all over the board. So we'll see what the other treatments are, what the other rarities are. But hopefully there's more than this, because for $700, I'm happy to sell it. There's no shot I would buy it. I mean, love Final Fantasy, but I don't like it that much. Moving on to the Commander decks. Haven't seen anything spoiled there yet. They're still sitting like $350 for the full set. Japanese collector boxes and the collector commanders are still, as I've been saying, they're super rare. They're super hard to get. I'm not sure I'm going to get more than 10 collector commanders and, probably no more than 10 to 15 Japanese collectors at this point. So other than that, we'll see what happens with spoilers this week. The one thing that's interesting is the play boosters have skyrocketed. So those are up to 160. And quite honestly, I'm a little curious why it took this long. Now, we went heavy for play boxes because when you see, the packs are selling for $60. Plus for the collector boxes, people are going to want something that they can open, and it's going to be the play boxes. So I know distro had excess last week, I believe, but I don't know. I don't know if anything's happened there to kind of dry that up. So we'll see. Edge of Eternities. For some reason, I thought the orders were due this week. I don't even know what month it is, but they're not due for another month. So we'll see. The thing that's interesting here is I still don't know on the collector boxes if they're going to be serialized cards, not serialized cards. Doesn't really say anything here. I'm not a huge fan of collector boxes without serialized cards, just because you kind of want the chase in there long term for the value to hold up. But yeah, we'll see. It's super early, and that could always change. In fact, they probably haven't even printed the set yet. So let's see. Moving on to the big dog, Pokemon. So Scarlet and Violet 10.5 Black and White came out. The orders are due this Friday, pretty much across the board. There's really nothing else. we'll circle back to that. But yeah, Destined Rivals. We had our pre-sale on Friday. Blew through all the product. Made a lot of people happy, which is good. We sold pretty significantly under market just to hook people up, and at the price point that everything's at. While I will continue to say that the value of the cards is going to be in the box at the price it's currently at, with multiple reprints coming over an extended period of time. Yeah, I it probably doesn't stay here for the long term, but we'll see. Anyway, SV 10.5 Scarlet Violet. This is going to be the final Scarlet and Violet era set. Had confirmation from my friends in Europe who have the release list for the rest of the year through multiple distributors. Apparently, things go to Europe before they go to the US. But the September set's going to be Mega Evolutions 1, Mega Evolutions Base, and then ME2 is going to be the December set. What's really interesting is we have the Super Premium Collection coming out now. We have the September Prismatic Evolution Statue Collection. There's going to be a November Statue Collection, which I assume is going to be black and white. I don't know. There's no information on it. But there's also a November Ultra Premium Collection coming, which I'm presuming is going to be the Prismatic Evolutions one. Something that nobody's seen yet. But that looks super, super interesting. So moving back to SV 10.5. So this is black and white, and it's two completely different sets in one. So the sets don't cross over, the packs don't cross over as far as we know now. The Elite Trainer boxes are separate SKUs. So in the past, if you bought a case of Paradox Rift or Temporal Forces, I believe, I don't know for certain, but I believe so, you would get 5 of each print in the case. For these, they are completely separate SKUs. Everything is a separate SKU. The thing that's super interesting is if you look at the poster collection from Prismatic, you get 3 packs. Here you're getting 4 packs, but you're only getting 2 black and 2 white. So technically, the amount of cards you're getting for the set you're looking for is reduced by 50%. So the most interesting part is I've talked to multiple distributors, and the resounding consensus is that the amount of product they're getting for this set is about 50% higher than what it was for Prismatic. The problem is at 150%, you're now split between 2 SKUs. So the individual black ETB is 75% of what they had gotten for all of Prismatic, and the white ETB is 75% of what they got for all of Prismatic. So the genius of all this from the Pokemon Company is they're dumping 50% more product into the market, and they're still creating the perception of a shortage because there's 25% less volume of each individual product, particularly the ETBs. So it's going to be interesting to see how the pricing of this one holds up. I know the set looks really, really cool. There's a ton of cards. I think each of the 156 Pokemon is going to have an art rare. I don't know how many SARs. I think there's 8 in each set, so 16 total. So the rarity should be about, just doing back to napkin math, it should be about twice as easy to get than any specific in Prismatic Evolutions. But I don't know how the price is going to hold up. I don't know what the hype's going to do in the set. I don't know what the cards are going to look like in the set. My gut feel before all of this came out, and in talking to, some stores and some folks that have been around for a while, the consensus is that the ETBs probably come out somewhere in the $75 range, which quite honestly is, it's obviously insanely healthy, probably a little unhealthy, but it will eliminate all the scalping. The scalping will end because there's just not going to be enough money to do it, enough margin to do it there. And it will be semi-affordable, but it's $75 for an ETB. It means the packs are sitting between $7 and $8, which, for a premium set, specialty set, whatever you want to call it, like this, it's on the high end, but that's probably within the parameters that the Pokemon Company is aiming for. And then, as we get to Mega Evolutions 1, it's going to be printed and printed and printed and synced up for the ZA game coming out. Whether you want to nitpick whether the Pokemon crossover or not, it doesn't matter. It is a stone cold fact that when a new game comes out, the hype is at the max and people buy the cards. So there's no correlation. It's just, oh, Pokemon, this cool. Oh, let me buy cards. That's it. It's that simple. Yeah, you don't need a 140 IQ to figure that out. So that's where we're at here. I think the super interesting thing is to see where the singles end up being priced for Destined. Journey Together's kind of fallen off a little bit, just like every set. Yeah, kind of reminds me a lot of Stellar Crown in the actual set setup itself. And then, we have reprints coming this week of Surging Sparks. It looks like it's actually a pretty decent number. From one distributor, I've gotten 10 times the number of cases than what I got on the first reprint. I don't know if that's just because they're throwing me a bone or if there's just a lot of booster boxes coming. Have not gotten into the different bundles and different deals across all the other distributors. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It seems like the pricing on this stuff isn't as nosebleed as what it has been on some of the other products. And I'm not talking about the prismatic ETBs, because I think those were all really, really fairly priced. Yeah, I'm talking about some of the random stuff that comes out literally at market or 10% less than market every now and then. But the product's limited, and again, somebody's got to make the money. And as long as distro's happy, quite honestly, we should all be happy. If distro's pissed off, then it's like being in the doghouse with the wife. Your life's gonna be miserable until she changes her mind. So anyway, guys, rolling back to that. Hopefully everybody had a great Mother's Day. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and have a great Sunday.